You ever noticed how the most infuriating, blood-boiling stories just seem to be everywhere online? Well, it is not a coincidence. There's actually a powerful, almost algorithmic reason for it. Today, we're going to dive into the surprising science that connects one very specific emotion, anger, to the viral spread of misinformation.
Oh yeah, we've all been there, right? You're just scrolling through your feed, and then you see a headline that just makes your blood boil. And before you even know it, your thumb is hovering right over that share button. So, why does that happen? What is it about outrage that makes it so incredibly contagious?
All right, so let's get right into it. To really get a handle on the problem, you have to look at the environment where it all goes down. Think of the whole social media landscape as a kind of misinformation engine. And guess what's fueling it? Yep, our own emotional reactions.
And you gotta understand, this is not random. So much of the false information floating around out there, from sketchy headlines to doctored photos, is specifically engineered to get a rise out of you. Because when our emotions are running hot, our critical thinking guard kind of takes a nap. And that emotional reaction, that's the fuel for the whole engine.
Now, the key emotion we're talking about here is often called moral outrage. You know that feeling, right? It's when you see something that you believe is just fundamentally wrong. But here's the twist. Outrage isn't just one simple feeling. It's more like a cocktail of emotions. And as we're about to find out, not all the ingredients in that cocktail push us to do the same thing.
Okay, so let's drill down a little deeper. If moral outrage is the engine, what's actually slamming on the gas pedal? Is it the feeling of anger, or is it the feeling of disgust? Well, some very smart researchers decided to find out for us.
And this is where the science comes in. This brings us to a really fascinating study from the journal Cognition and Emotion. A team led by Xiaozi Peng over at Shenzhen University, they set out to untangle this idea of moral outrage and pinpoint the exact emotion that makes us share all this questionable news.
And here's what's so wild. Psychologically, anger and disgust are kind of like polar opposites. Think about it. Anger is a go signal. It's action-oriented. It makes you want to run towards the fight, to confront the problem. Disgust, on the other hand, is a stop signal. It makes you want to run away from something, to avoid it, to reject it. And that difference, well, it turns out, it's everything.
And boom, here it is, the big aha moment of the research. When the study participants were prompted to feel angry, their willingness to share news from sketchy sources just skyrocketed. But look at the disgust and the neutral groups. They stayed way down, flatlined. Disgust didn't make people want to share more. It was anger, and only anger, that flipped the switch.
I mean, the lead researcher, Xiaozi Peng, said it himself. They were surprised by just how clear and consistent this finding was. So even though we tend to lump anger and disgust together and just call it outrage, they have totally different effects on what we do online. Anger is the active ingredient. It's the secret sauce.
Okay, so now we've nailed down the what. It's anger. The next big question is, how? How does one little flash of anger manage to completely hijack our better judgment and make us hit shares so impulsively?
So to get this next part, we've got to talk about a really cool concept called the decision threshold. Just think of it like a bouncer at a nightclub in your brain. It's your mind's internal quality control. It's the amount of proof you need before you decide, okay, this is legit, I'm going to do something. You know, like hit share.
All right, let's just walk through how this goes down. So step 1, you're scrolling, and wham, you see that post that makes your blood boil. Step 2, you feel that instant flash of anger. Now here is the crucial part. Step 3, that anger basically tells the bouncer in your brain to go take a coffee break. Your decision threshold just drops to the floor. And the result? Step 4, you share with way less thought and caution than you normally would.
And I want to be super clear about this because it's really important. Anger doesn't suddenly make you dumber. It doesn't switch off your BS detector. Your ability to tell truth from fiction is still there. What changes is your impulsivity. Anger just makes you care less about checking the facts before you click.
As the researcher put it, anger just makes us faster and, well, sloppier. It's like it pushes this big red action button in our brains, completely bypassing all the slow, careful, hang on a second type of thinking.
So this is all fascinating stuff, but what do we actually do with this knowledge? Well, that brings us to our final and maybe most important section, how to turn this science into a real-world strategy. Let's call it the Angry Post Pause.
You see, what this all really shows us is that fighting misinformation isn't just about fact-checking and debunking. It's about learning to manage our own emotional responses. The problem spreads through communication that is specifically designed to be emotionally charged, and anger is the #1 accelerant. And this right here, This is the golden nugget from the whole study. That feeling of instant anger shouldn't be a green light to share. It should be a blaring red siren telling you to stop, to pause, to take a breath and ask yourself, wait a minute, is this post designed to make me angry so I'll share it without thinking?
So that flash of anger, it's a powerful signal. But now you know it's not a signal to share. It's a signal to slow down and think critically. Which leaves us with one final thought to take with you. Knowing what you know now, what will you pause on today?